The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar on Proxy Private Cloud. My name is Vanessa Cardwell. I'm the Marketing Manager here at Network Utilities, and I'll be joined this afternoon by Mark Hodgson and Ryan Gallagher from Proxy Networks, who will be delivering their presentation and demo to us from their offices in Boston. Network Utilities, to give you a bit of background, are the primary UK partners of Proxy Networks, and we've been working together for the past 20 years. Today's webinar will give you an overview and a demo of Proxy Private Cloud. Pressure on tech support teams is growing as technology changes and user demands for network access increase. Technical support becomes more complicated with more devices and systems to support at different times and in different locations. PROXY Pro Private Cloud delivers fast, secure and easy to use web-based access to unlimited clients anywhere and anytime. So let me just very quickly take you through today's agenda. The webinar today will give you a demo of PROXY Pro Private Cloud and will last about 30 minutes. We're going to be inviting you to submit questions both during Mark's presentation and at the end. So if you do have any questions, please use the question tab to submit those at any stage during the presentation. And we will make sure we address these either when we pause to take questions during the demo or at the end of the session. So I'd like to hand over to Mark now to deliver the presentation and the demo. So Mark, I'm just handing control over to you.
Okay.
Okay, Mark, so you should now have control.
Thanks, Vanessa. Can you see my screen okay then?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Great. Well, thank you very much for inviting us here at Proxy. It's a pleasure to speak with you all today. I have Ryan Gallagher from my support team here too, and he can answer some more technical questions. We're both glad to have the opportunity to talk about Proxy's new flagship product, the Private Cloud Edition. So for those of you that have used Proxy before, you'll see that the Private Cloud Edition improves upon our Workstation and Gateway editions, really delivering a lot more functionality and a greater ease of use all at the same time. And for those of you that are not yet familiar with Proxy or our remote desktop software, simply put, we provide an enterprise-class solution for managing remote access and remote control to all of your physical and virtual desktops, laptops, servers, and systems, whether they're on or off your network. So either way, really what most of our customers tell us that they love most about Proxy and why they buy Proxy and why they continue to use Proxy for many, many years is really because it's fast, it's reliable, and it's easy to use. So what I'm showing you here today is the Proxy Private Cloud Edition's landing page. So Private Cloud is managed primarily through our web console, and that's a browser-based administrative tool that allows you to remotely access and control and manage your desktop environment. You'll go to a specific customer URL, one that's specific to you. In this instance, this is our demonstration environment, and we've just named the URL proxydesktop.com. So when you get here, you'll see two things right away. One is the Share My Desktop button. Now this enables our Host on Demand functionality, which is a fully web-based method for reaching remote machines. So a master user or an IT support technician can direct an end user to visit this URL and download a temporary instance of this proxy host. It takes just a few seconds and it will install on the machine that you want to connect to. And once it's installed, you'll be able to find it in your web console and connect to it. Great for transient usage for folks that don't already have a more traditional permanently installed proxy host on their machine. But for the IT user or the support staff, you'll go to Find a Desktop most frequently. You'll log in with your Windows credentials, and once there, you'll see all machines that are available for connection. So right here, actually, this is an example. This machine right here is my machine, and you can see it reporting in. I clicked on that orange Share My Desktop button, and so you can see how quickly it reports into your Proxy web console and becomes available for connection. So this is the administrative account in the web console. and it's going to give you that ability to connect to record desktops, as well as to centrally manage and audit all the connections made through your web console. So I'm going to give a brief tour of a couple of these tabs, and then we're also going to connect to a machine, and we'll show you some of the functionalities of Proxy's remote control. So the home page is really the main dashboard here, and again, it illustrates all the hosts that are available for connection. It illustrates any active connections to your web console. This is my active connection here. And if we were connected to any desktops, it would show the active connections as well. In addition, it gives you some information on your license and your usage and the concurrency of how many masters or help desk admins are connected to the proxy gateway at the same time. Now let's talk about the host tab. The host tab here is where you're going to be able to manage and organize your endpoint machines into groups. You can make custom groups to make them easier to find, easier to manage. Those groups can be based on location or a job function. Maybe the marketing team has their own groups. Or they can simply mirror your Active Directory or OU structure. So I mentioned there are two types of groups, two types of hosts rather. All your hosts reporting in will always report into the all host group. But again, host on demand would show you any host that is a transient host that reports into the gateway. And again, that's my machine right there that I had report in there. Recordings tabs. We mentioned that one of the functionalities of Proxy is screen recording, and we can start one right here from the home machine as well. We just go to this drop down. We record this. We can dictate how long we want to record the screen data on that remote desktop. And after a second or so, we'll see that now we've got some indications here that there's a recording happening on this desktop. Nice thing about the Recordings tab here is that it allows you to start, stop, pause, delete recordings from the Recordings tab, and it will also allow you to search recordings and playback recordings that were made. You can see here some recordings that were made over the last couple of months in our demo environment, and we can actually play them right back from here as well. So now let's connect to a machine. With Proxy, finding machine is as easy as picking the custom group that you want to access machines from, or picking the all host group, or just typing in the machine almost like a Google search bar and find the machine that you'd like to connect to. Once you find that machine, you can just simply click on the Connect button or Connect As, and it will launch a separate connection window using Microsoft's Click Once technology. In our demo environment, because this isn't physically installed in our own LAN, we do have to re-authenticate as we connect to a machine, but Proxy does allow for single sign-on when installed in your own environment. Now that we've connected to this remote desktop, you see a little toast notification indicating that we have connected. You'll be able to gain control of this machine with the experience that's, again, very fast, reliable, and easy to use. Using Proxy should be just as if you're sitting right in front of the machine. You'll also notice there's a few different tools that we provide within Proxy to make your remote control experience better. Here you're able to go into view-only mode, where you can take control of that. Maybe the end user needs to have the input control, or you need to take it from them. Proxy also allows you to copy, paste, and clipboard content to send keystrokes. You can initiate a chat with the end user as well, if you don't happen to be on the phone with them, and that's a back and forth dialogue naturally. There's also different settings in Proxy where you can fit to a window or really adjust the settings so that the experience renders best on your machine. We also offer file transfer. So file transfer with Proxy is very simple. It works in a drag and drop manner where you can take a whole directory or just one file and transfer something over to your local machine. or from your local machine to the remote machine. And then we also offer something called remote management. Our customers love remote management, and I think one of the best things about it is that it allows you to access so many different system variables about that computer behind the scenes without interrupting the end user. So an end user could go on working on a document or in their email, and you could be on the remote management tab and see all the information that you might need to access regarding hardware, all the information you'd want to access regarding software and all the installed products that are on it, any processes or services that are running on the machine. Here's the software expansion here, so you'll see the manufacturer name, version numbers. Now this naturally can be very handy if you're trying to see if maybe an antivirus software is not using the latest or greatest, or Adobe hasn't been updated or such. Similarly, services and processes, you can right-click and start, stop, and restart services, which is helpful when connecting to servers. Or processes, you can right-click and end a process. What else? We have an event manager here, which will allow you to see all the logs that Microsoft will make on this about key events. And that's helpful if you need to determine things that have happened on the machine that maybe the end user can't describe. Let Microsoft help you there and diagnose that. Some of the other things that this remote management tab offers is power management. And power management allows you to force a log off of the console user, restart the machine, or shut it down completely. Again, all of this can be done behind the scenes without interrupting the end user. And PROXY also allows you to reboot the host in safe mode with networking, and then reconnect while it's in safe mode. So that is a very brief and kind of comprehensive tour of gaining control of a machine. And again, your experience should be very little lag, if any. I'll also note that PROXY has a number of key mechanisms within the software to help optimize your performance in the event that one of these remote machines is in a less than stellar internet connection. So what I want to do is maybe just pause there for a minute and see if there's any questions that have come up on the remote control of PROXY, or features or functionality that we might tackle. And then after we answer any of those questions, if there are any, we can go back to the web console and talk a little bit more about the security within PROXY, different types of accounts, and some auditing and analytics that can be done in the web console.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mark. We have had a couple of questions come in during your demo, so I'm going to read those out to you now so you can answer those. The first one is, can the window be made larger? I'm assuming that's to do with the remote control window. Can you answer that for us, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan, why don't you tackle that?
Sure. So there's a couple different screen sizing options at the top. There's the full screen button, which will blow off the whole thing to as best fit the remote machine to your desktop here, and then there's a couple other ones to on full screen this here. I'm using my own computer here, so. Fit to window would allow you to drag the edges of the connection window to kind of, make, if you're connecting to a bunch of machines all at once, you can make a, first one over here, kick off another connection, tile it next to the other one. So the point of this third one is to allow you to kind of drag the edges of the connection window to, make it fit whatever size you prefer, really. Does that sufficiently answer that question there?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
I think the short answer is, yeah, there are a number of different mechanisms up there that sometimes you'll just want to try the fit to window or the one-to-one, or drag the edge of the window there and resize it for yourself, just to really have the best possible display. And that's, of course, short of going into the control panel and readjusting the display on that remote machine, which, again, you could do, change the screen resolution, but you'd probably only do that if you needed to have extensive, maybe longer-term work on that machine. But there are a number of mechanisms, shortcuts here built to try to optimize that display. So yes.
Okay, Mark, we've had a couple more questions in relating to screen size. Let me just read these out to you. Seems like it is sizing to a 15-inch screen size. Complex large screen apps will not work well like this, question mark. Can you give some response to that, please?
So when you make a connection to a host computer, the connection window's dimensions is going to be identical to that of the machine you've connected to. For example, if I believe Mark's monitor here is 1650 by 1080 widescreen mode. So if you were connecting to another machine that had the exact same resolution, then that's a perfect world whereby if that's the case, you can click full screen and the dimensions would map one-to-one, for a true, mapping of the dimensions of the screen to your computer here. Now, if the machine that you're connecting to is a smaller resolution, well,
like the virtual machine that we're connected to.
Yeah, we've actually intentionally set our servers down to a pretty low resolution here, obviously to speed up the, we don't need to have it be a giant widescreen resolution to, give you the idea here. But the default behavior of what you can expect is that the connection window is going to launch with the exact same dimensions of the machine you've connected to. And aside from adjusting the resolution in Windows, we would be able to size up the connection window to your heart's content by using the Fit to Window button, which I showed you first here. And that's what allows you to kind of, make it your own size. So you can just drag it to make it your own, to fit the dimensions that you like there.
Yeah, so the default behavior would be that it would direct map the monitor and screen resolution that you're connected to, and again, a number of mechanisms to kind of alter that to optimize it.
Okay. Thanks, Mark and Ryan, for that. I've just had some feedback here to say that the attendee who submitted those questions around screen size is happy with the responses there, so thank you. I have another one related to this that's come through, which is how does it handle if the user has multiple screens?
Yeah, that's a good question. So Proxy fully supports multiple monitors, that 2, 3, 4, and the way that it's mapped out in there is that you'll be able to see, one monitor as you have today. If there were 2 monitors, it would map it. Ryan, how's the scheme work? And the top left and then the bottom right. And if you have 3 monitors, it then displays it, along in the window here in three different windows, if you will.
So it's going to be one connection window. So for example, if I'm sitting at a single monitor machine, I'm connecting to a dual or multi-monitor machine. When I make the connection, it's going to capture and transmit the whole field of view, monitor 1, monitor 2, and monitor 3, as defined as its layout in Windows. So if you're connecting from a single monitor machine to a host machine that has 2 or more monitors, typically what you can expect would be a scroll bar at the bottom to allow you to, on the left, use the primary monitor, but drag it to the right and then begin using the second or third monitor.
One of the things we've talked about as well with our product development team, and I know they're in consideration, is adding another button up there to the right and having a monitor toggle system where you will just click, view monitor 1, view monitor 2, view monitor 3, or view all. And so that's something that we have recently got a little feedback from our customers on suggestions for optimizing the product. And so product development is in research in looking into that as well. So the short answer is that we fully support dual and multi-monitors.
Okay, that's great. Thank you both for the responses to those. Have we got time to take one more before we move on to the next part of the presentation? This is around hosts. So how do the hosts get installed or deployed?
That's a very good question. So the short answer is that the proxy software can be deployed in the same manner that you're comfortable deploying any other software with. That said, we do provide a free deployment tool, and what that deployment tool does is it really helps you push out the host to all the remote machines that you need it installed on, because you certainly don't want to do it one at a time. And it ensures that you get that host software installed with all the right custom settings. That's actually relevant to what we have here on the screen, which is called the Proxy Host Control Panel. Proxy software is very, very customizable, and you can have it behave in a wide range of different manners. So what we have clicked on here is the General tab in the Host Control Panel, and you'll see that Host Appearance has a couple of drop-downs. So when someone is connected to the host, you can choose to have an icon, or you can choose to have it hidden. Similarly, you can have the remote machine beep when someone's connected to it or not. Or you can have pop-up notifications, as you might recall we saw when we first connected. What that means is you can have the host behave very verbosely when someone's connected, or turn all that off and connect to a machine in stealth mode. Similarly, you can have access options that require no permission need be granted by the end user, or you can require some level of permission by the end user. We leave it up to our customers, but these are some of the choices that you'll make when you want to push out the host software. And we can help create from our software MSI an MST that can be pushed out. We'll help you through all of that, and really it can be deployed in any manner that our customers are comfortable with. And in our next release in the summer, we're also going to have a feature included in our web console that allows you to update these settings on the fly on a remote host from the web console. So we're excited about that as well.
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much to you both, Mark and Ryan, for answering those questions. I think there'll be another opportunity for those of you listening to submit questions towards the end, but we'll move on now on to the rest of Mark and Ryan's demo and presentation.
Okay, great. So we've shown remote control. What I'd like to do is just go back to the web console and talk about some of the other tabs here. We saw that we were recording, and that 5-minute recording ended. I'll note here, you'll see some on the visual dashboards that this is all lit up in green, meaning someone is connected to this machine, one person in fact, and if more people were connected to this machine, that number would naturally increase. The Proxy Private Cloud Edition allows for multiple users to connect to the same machine at the same time for a real collaborative support session. And also, once connected, we can also connect to multiple machines at the same time so that you could have multiple connections open as well. So just wanted to point that out. Recordings, I know we searched it, but I'll just show you that we do definitely have the recording in here. And here's that 5-minute recording that we have, and I could hit play and it would launch a separate connection window to go back and view that recording there, and I'll have to authenticate. But in the interest of time, we'll just move back to some of the tabs. So the Accounts tab. Now what you're seeing here is you're seeing what we call the administrative account with Proxy. There are also 2 other accounts. The master account would only show, when a user logs in, the Home, the Host, and the Recordings tab. It wouldn't have these other tabs. And the master account with Proxy is really more for day-to-day remote support tasks, completely controlling and managing those endpoint machines, as you've seen. Each master can, as I said, open multiple connections. And what the admin account will do is, with the Accounts tab, is they would choose who has access to an admin level account, or a master level account, or a personal level account. And if they set up, say, a master account for, say, Jay Smith, they can then really segment exactly which groups that help desk technician has availability to see and connect to. So this starts to get into some of the granularity of Proxy and the customization of Proxy to really ensure that only the right people have access to the right machines, and furthermore can only do a certain number of things when they get there. So for instance, with Proxy you're able to maybe restrict a junior level technician from doing screen recordings on production class servers, or file transfers from the CEO's machine, or things like that. But really it puts all the the tools in your hand to create a very secure and sometimes multi-tiered support and help desk environment. One other thing we want to point out about accounts is that there is also a third level account called our personal account. What the personal account is intended for is for non-IT personnel to be able to access their corporately issued PC from home or from the road with a web browser. So naturally they can get to their machine or get to their files and work at it from the airport or a customer site or from home. The administrator would set them up with that one-to-one functionality of connection to only their machine, and that could be a really nice VPN alternative. They can transfer files, print remotely, if they're allowed to initiate a screen recording on their machine. And so we've had a lot of our customers excited about that. Being from Boston, we get a lot of snowstorms, so sometimes people need to have remote access to their own machine as well. So that sort of segues us into proxy security. And while I want to be brief about it, I want to reiterate that with proxy is one of the most secure remote desktop support products in the marketplace. Through authorization, Windows authorization, through the authentication that we have here, as well as IP address restriction, encryption of connections, and auditing, which we'll show you. There's really many, many different mechanisms that we can lock down this environment to, again, ensure that only the right people have access to the right machines within your desktop or server environment. Activity, this is where activity and analytics support the auditing of connections. Activity will show you any connections that are happening presently. Analytics allows you to go back and search and query, maybe from a certain time period, any connections that were made to specific hosts or made to the gateway in general, and so that you can go in and identify users and what machines they connected to and what services they performed when they got there. Did they do file transfers, or did they do remote printing or remote control, etc.? So it's really a very robust auditing and reporting tool to make sure that you can track all the connections that you make through the Proxy Web Console and our Proxy Gateway. And then lastly is the Gateway tab, and this is where a proxy administrator will make certain customizations, like what port and protocol the Web Console uses to listen for outbound connections, machines that travel off the LAN and go to customer sites, different encryption modeling methods here, as well as where gateway recordings are stored and data files are stored. So this gets a little complex, but it just goes to our licensing and polling ranges and IP address restrictions and Web Console settings and a lot of the stuff that's a little more technical for this high-level overview. But that is the majority of the Proxy Web Console, and I guess I'd like to pause right there. First, thank everybody for their time, and then again open it up for any additional questions about the different types of proxy accounts or proxy security or any Web Console functionality or remote control functionality that have come up since the last break.
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much indeed, Mark. So as Mark mentioned, this is a second opportunity for you to submit those questions. So please use the question tab to submit those now, and we'll field those to Mark. Mark, I'm going to leave control with you because I think that'll be more useful to you when we're answering the questions. So there's one that came in at the end of the first question session, which I'll go through now, which is presume that there is no way to run the software if your internet fails.
That's a great presumption. While we haven't cracked the code on black magic yet, you're right. There does need to be some sort of a network connectivity to be able to connect. That said, we have customers that have a proxy host installed on machines and systems that go, down in mines or go out offshore onto offshore oil rigs, and naturally there's going to be environments. Even 3G wireless cards where laptops might run on. Now, where the connection is a little bit less than stellar, and what we're able to do there is create there's a couple of different mechanisms within Proxy that can help for that. So again, if there's no internet connection, we can't connect. But there are a couple of different screen capture modes that might work better for a particular host. We have kernel mode and user mode, and we also have bandwidth throttling. And bandwidth throttling allows you to slim down some of the activity on that machine so that you optimize their performance. For example, you might want to limit the bandwidth that Proxy uses to 80 KB, and that will help those connections. So I hope that answered how we can optimize connections, but naturally we can't connect if there's absolutely no internet connection whatsoever. It's going to be dependent on the network that the host resides on.
Okay, I've just had feedback here saying yes, thank you, that answers the question. I've got another one here for you. Do you have a Linux version of the host?
Good question. So we're able to, we have the physically installed version of Proxy resides on a Windows machine, but we are able to connect to both Linux and Mac machines on your domain without the need to install a Proxy host. And as we show here, it's as easy as going to the connection, connect through the VNC server. That's provided that the Linux or Mac machine have the VNC server enabled on that machine, and then you're just going to type in the IP address and a password if you have it to connect to it, and you'll get the remote control of those machines. So yes.
Great. Okay. And moving on to the next question, how is the solution priced and licensed?
Very good question. So Proxy is traditionally purchased in a perpetually licensed manner. Most of our customers have it physically installed in their own environment. They want to own their data, and when it's purchased for life. We do offer optional maintenance and support contracts, and those are 25% of the original retail license costs, and those are renewable annually, again optional. But those are great naturally. There's a handful of moving parts within Proxy, and you get priority support to folks like Ryan and his team. And you also get free upgrades to both the major and minor releases of Proxy when you have an active maintenance and support contract. Now, in terms of licensing, the private cloud edition is, because it's enterprise class, is usually a really good fit for mid to large size companies. We give an unlimited host license key, so you can deploy the host on as many physical machines, virtual machines. We also support VDI environment and can support remote access and control of terminal service session environments. And then it's really just priced on concurrency. The number of admin or most likely master users that need to be using the Proxy software at the same time. So you might have 10 folks that might ever use the software, but if only 6 or 7 or 5 are going to use Proxy at the same time in a peak circumstances, you would only need to get 5 concurrent master accounts. So we can go into more detail for any folks that want a price quote naturally through the folks at Network Utilities.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mark. And we'll just do the one last question here. How does this solution compare? How does Proxy solution compare to others on the market?
That's the $64,000 question. So, so Proxy again is an enterprise class solution. Now we know there is a lot of freeware out there, and naturally those are probably better suited for very smaller businesses. Smaller environments. There's a couple solutions out there that don't quite have the functionality of what Proxy has, but certainly in the enterprise class space, there are certainly a number of other solutions out there. Folks that we're at the table with and solutions that our customers look at next to us are oftentimes the BombGuard solution. That's a good solution. GoToAssist is something that we're looked at with side by side with, and maybe PC Anywhere. There aren't a lot of real enterprise class tools. Those are probably the 4. Some smaller tools for maybe smaller companies are the Damewares or the TeamViewers of the world. but Proxy is the solution that really does sort of the best of all worlds. We have the host on demand, and we have the installed host. We have the web-based master, and we have an installed master. We give you the ability to connect to both physical and virtual machines. Not all of those 3 or 4 solutions that are in the enterprise class space do all of that, all of what we do. And they do a few things, arguably, that we don't. But what we find is that our customers choose Proxy because of the performance and reliability, the functionality, the ease of use, really the security. That's huge. And I think the price point is a very compelling value proposition for us. We are cheaper than all of those other solutions. PC Anywhere is at least double the price. BombGuard's double the price. GoToAssist is as much to buy Proxy as it is to rent GoToAssist for a year. And arguably, we have all, if not more, of the functionality and performance than a lot of those solutions. So I guess that's how we would compare to those.
Okay. That's great. Thanks very much indeed, Mark, for answering all those questions. I'm just going to flick back to my final slide here before we round off. So I want to thank you very much indeed, Mark and Ryan, for joining us today, and thank you to everyone listening for joining our webinar this afternoon. Please contact a solution expert from our team if you would like further information on anything you've seen here today. For existing Proxy customers, we have some limited promotions running until the end of June to support your migration to Proxy Private Cloud. So we invite you to make contact with us to discuss these. And for those of you new to Proxy, again, please do contact us for details on how we can find the best pricing option to suit your needs. Thanks again for joining us today.